really grateful that she went ahead and followed up with me. So follow up, we always hear fortune is in the follow up. I'm not here to talk about that today, but that is really, really key in moving forward. It doesn't have to be with everybody. Find the key people that you really want to know and follow up with them as well. So I'm a former police officer. I was a police officer and SWAT team member for 10 years in Wisconsin. Sometimes people can see it, sometimes people can't. But one of the things, I've been an entrepreneur since 2005, and the idea of time management was always foreign to me because I was like always woo busy. Like I got, this going on and that going on. But when I really came down to it and took a look at my life, was I really being busy, or was I busy being productive? And so those are going to be some of the things that we're going to talk about today that I'm going to give you. So get a notebook, get a pen, strap into your seat, and let's get started with a lot of great information. So if you're struggling with time management, it's usually just the tip of the iceberg. There's really a root cause of what is going on with time management. And it's usually some form of self-sabotage, or, our subconscious is ideally attempting to protect us from what it is that we really truly want to be doing. And so that is a whole nother subject to talk about our subconscious and how it's really operating us. Have you ever heard that 95% of how you operate is all habits? And so I'm here today just to give you some ideas between, to really kind of shift your thinking and look at things in a little bit different way. One of the biggest myths that I have come across is that we have to work hard to get ahead. Anybody, and especially those of you from the Midwest or from anywhere, when you're an entrepreneur, you work incredibly hard. Why can't it be easy? Why can't it be fun? Why do we have to make it difficult? Difficult does not mean it's more worth the end result. Another big, because I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And here's one of my first life hacks that you want to write down, because this is key in moving forward. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. And why do I say that? A lot of times as women, but as entrepreneurs, we get so caught up in how it has to look. And really, the only ones that are critiquing it is us. And so, sometimes there are just those things on our plate that we're so worried about what they're going to look like, that if you just got it done and got it off your plate, you're going to be so much further ahead. Now, here's tip number one that I want to talk about, is this idea of these huge chunks of time. Now, I know Colleen and several of you are all about calendar blocking, and I've learned to be better with calendar blocking. But here's the thing. Most of us, unless we have this big focus, and I'm going to get to that in just a little bit, but a lot of times we set up these huge chunks of time, like say a 4-hour time block, and we're going to be super productive during that 4-hour time block. And then what happens? The dogs are coming at you. The kids are asking you questions. Every distraction under the sun is coming at you. Your phone's going crazy. Your emails are beep, 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 beep. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then 4 hours comes and goes, and you don't find that you got anything done, like anything is that you wanted to get done. So here's what I would like you to do. I would love for you to try this concept. Okay. You're going to do 15-minute blocks. I call it something, like if you want to call it a wildly important goal, like what is your top priority? Okay. What is it that maybe you have been dreaming about, something that you want to be working on? Maybe it's a project, maybe it's launching a whole new business. There is something in your life that sings to your heart and speaks to you. Maybe it's your passion, maybe it's your purpose, and you're just not quite there living it. Or, and if you need help figuring that out, well, I can help you with your purpose and your passion. Okay. But that's, again, a whole nother side topic. Can you tell there's a lot of topics I can talk about and that I can teach on? Okay. So 15 minutes. So the first thing that you're going to do is I would love for you to set that 15 minutes up as like kind of a first priority of your day. Like, maybe it's part of your morning ritual, or it's one of the first or second things that you're getting done early in the morning. And if it can't happen early in the morning because you already have your set routine, find a standard time throughout the week, Monday through Friday, that you're going to set this 15 minutes. Then you're going to put your phone on do not disturb, okay? And don't even look at it. Turn it upside down, do whatever you need to do with your phone. And then turn off all the other noisemakers. If your computer is dinging at you all the time with all your emails, don't even sit in front of your computer. Go find a quiet place. Now, our subconscious is also going to self-sabotage us. And all of a sudden, you're going to feel this need to go to the bathroom, clean the refrigerator, like maybe go get, some water or whatever it is. Okay, again, eliminate all distractions. Get your water. If you're hungry, grab a little snack, do whatever it is. We're only talking 15 minutes, ladies, okay? So then you're going to go ahead and you're going to set a timer. You're going to set a timer for 15 minutes. And you are going to stay focused for just 15 minutes on whatever it is that item is. And I don't want it to be tasky things. I want it, again, to really speak to you what is your, what's your heart. If you know what your passion is, or you know what your 15 minutes is, like if you already have an idea, go ahead and drop it in the chat, because I am happy to be your accountability person and just kind of shoot off a message like, hey, how are you doing on your 15-minute increments? So go ahead and drop it in if you kind of know what it is that you're looking for. All right, you work for 15 minutes, your timer goes off, and then you know what you're going to do? Woohoo, you're going to celebrate. You are going to celebrate you showing up and taking action. You're not going to, qualify what you got done, or look at the quality, look at the quantity. You're going to celebrate that you showed up and you took action and you stayed true to your word. Because have you ever noticed how we can commit to others, and yet so many times we do not have that same commitment level with ourselves? And when we don't have that same commitment to ourselves, it chips away at our self-esteem. And you say to yourself, oh my gosh, another day that I didn't get done what I said I wanted to get done for myself. And in those 15, and then if you want, you can go ahead and set another 15-minute increment. However, if you don't get to that other 15-minute increment in the day, trust me, I know that you are going to start to find that you're being much more productive in those 15 minutes of what it is that you really want to be accomplishing, versus setting up those 4-hour time blocks and not getting anything done. So does that make sense to everyone? Has everybody got an idea of that? And again, I see some people are posting in the chat, so thank you. If there's anything, again, what's been hanging over your head? What is that one thing that every day you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I wish I had this off my plate? And maybe it's going to take you a few hours to get it done. I see some people are doing some things about podcasting and videos and all those kinds of things. Just imagine where you're going to be in the next couple of weeks when you've got those 15-minute increments. All right. Woohoo! Tip number 2, we're going to talk about priorities. Oh my gosh, how exciting. High priority versus low priority. Lynn, you wish you only had one thing. I just saw that. That just caught my attention. We need to talk about that because, I'm going to talk a little bit in this presentation about a to-do list versus a success list. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. So I will help you with that. High priority versus low priority. We are not able to live an inspired life by doing low priority items. And achievers always are looking for ways to do high priority items. And if you're not finding high priority items, you're destined to work for people who are doing high priority items. That's just the bottom line. So what do I mean by that? Has anybody ever seen or heard or done anything with Dr. DeMartini? If you have, raise your hand or just wave at me or make some. So Dr. DeMartini, look him up. He's amazing. And he actually has on his website, I love Dr. DeMartini, a values survey that you can do to see what is your highest priorities in life. Now, here's what he teaches and what I heard him talk about. Dr. DeMartini loves to do research. That's what he was born to do. He would spend 24/7 doing nothing more than research and teaching people information and teaching people ideas. And he shared with us at a conference once about how he hates to drive and he hates to cook. Okay, so what does Dr. DeMartini do? He's hired himself a driver that takes him everywhere he goes so he can sit in the back seat and do what his high priority is of doing research. Okay. So I want you to look at the things that you are doing in your life. And when you're making a list, which we're going to get away from, but when you're looking at the different activities you're doing, find out whether it's a high priority or a low priority. If you doing your business or when you're in, like I see Tracy front and foremost. So she does styling. She's an amazing stylist. Okay. So say Tracy, and I don't know, but you make $500 an hour, whenever you're working with a client and you're doing, your styling, then why are you spending hours cleaning the house? And maybe you do, maybe you don't, or maybe you're cleaning that refrigerator, whatever it is that you're doing. Like you really have to compare dollars and cents. Hire a cleaner. You can get a cleaner for $15, $20, $25 an hour, whatever they are, to take that off your plate. Stop spending time. And people are like, well, I don't have the money for it. You do. You just are choosing not to spend the money on that. When your time is better spent, earning and doing your purpose and passion. When you're in your purpose and passion and like you're really doing your high priority items, the money's going to come. The money's going to follow. Money is not going to be an issue. But, like when you're so worried about the money that you're putting out there for those low priority items, that's when we start to have, the conflict. And, we all think about, as far as priority goes, I'm going to tell you this, it's another clue. You are a priority. So I want you this week to go ahead and this is going to be like another fun thing that you can do this week. I want you to go into your calendar and find 5 ways to be scheduling in a priority for yourself. At least 1 to 2 have to be self-care. What is self-care for you? Is it reading? Is it, I mean, it could be something as simple as downtime where you are just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. How attractive does that sound? But I will tell you that there's a purpose in sitting around doing nothing, because a lot of times your most creative moments will be coming to you at that point because you're allowing yourself to be. See, we are human beings, not human doings. So it's like, we're always constantly running around like chickens with our head cut off. How nice would it be to enjoy this moment? One of the reasons I'm so passionate about time and that you only have this moment and you only have this day is because I was a police officer and I saw how quickly life can change. Life changes on a dime. I saw it in my own life. I lost my mom, hard to believe, 17 years ago at the age of 59 from early onset Alzheimer's. So many people think that they have forever and they wait till someday when I have all the money and someday when I lose all the weight and someday. And all of a sudden you're on your deathbed and you have the regrets of what you didn't get done versus what you did get done. Today is a gift and it's all we know that we're guaranteed to have. So how are you spending it moment by moment and really enjoying what it is in front of you? We all have obstacles. My life is not sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. I say that all the time. I mean, I just got over a horrible bout of COVID. for the last 2 weeks I spent in bed. Do you think that that was easy for me, a high energy person, to be in bed for 2 weeks? And every single day I prayed that like I would get my health back, because when you have your health, you have everything. But it really puts a sense of what's a priority for me. What is most important to me at that point? And I think that the universe sends us those things. They send us those signs, like for us to reevaluate what is a priority, what are we stressing out about, and what doesn't need to be stressed about anymore. So, that's one of the things. And in that priority, I want you again to figure out, what is my big picture item? What is the one thing before the end of 2021 that I really want to have accomplished? What is it? One thing. And then every time that you are doing something, I want you to stop and ask yourself, is this moving me towards that big picture, or is it taking me away from that big picture? Like, all day long, we can be asking ourselves again. I always go to the fact, because this is my favorite thing. Like, when I am avoiding something that really needs to be done, oh my gosh, like I get into this like home nesting. Again, like I really seriously have cleaned out my refrigerator. I've cleaned out pantries. I start organizing things because you know what? Like it's controllable, and we sometimes have this problem with instant gratification, don't we? I mean, technology has driven us to this idea like it has to be just like this. The internet's not working. Oh my God. Like why isn't it fast enough? Why is it stalling? Why is this happening? What about, what about my phone? I mean, 20 years ago, we didn't have all of this at our fingertips. And now, because of how it's been ingrained in us, we think everything is going to happen immediately. That's sometimes why we like those projects where we can, do some organizing or do some straightening out or clean out our closet, Tracy, right? Or, whatever it is, because we see the instant results. But life is not always about instant gratification and instant results. And so for you, and when you're working on that big picture item, go ahead and every day should be like the small increments, those 15 minutes, almost like you're creating a domino effect. Like, you ever set up dominoes and you push one and they all start to go down? That's really what you're going to be doing every single day when it comes to a lot of things around the time management. All right, I love this next one because this was a lesson that took me a long time to learn. All right, you ready for it? The art of saying no. Woo! The art of saying no. And let me tell you something, ladies. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to give a reason as to why you're saying no. But I will tell you that say no to some tasky things, and we're going to kind of differentiate, but say yes to life. Has anybody ever seen the Jim Carrey movie, with the Yes Man? If you haven't, maybe in your downtime, go ahead and watch The Yes Man because it's hilarious. But here's the thing, Jim Carrey, and for all of us, we are so used to the first words coming out of our mouth sometimes for awesome opportunities or awesome life experiences is no. Okay. So there's a difference between saying no to your life and no to things that you really don't want to be doing. And we'll talk about the difference. But go ahead and watch The Yes Man, because for 24 hours, he can do nothing but say yes. Yes to learning Chinese. And then all of a sudden, he has this opportunity to be able to speak Mandarin. Like all these things that he had been saying no to for all of his life, and how it opened up the doors of the possibilities. But here's the thing. Every time you say yes to something that is going to take up more time, you are saying no to something else in your life. And so there are different ways that we can, talk about the idea of saying, like no. You can say no with respect. You can say no promptly. And when I'm talking about like what we're saying no to is like all those volunteer opportunities, all those things that people want you to sit on, maybe it's boards or it's, like committees or, the PTO or like whatever it is. Sometimes when you are leaders, as you women are, a lot of times people are going to see your strengths and really truly as human beings, I believe we have a desire and a want to be able to give back. This is not always a lesson that is easy for people. It's so sometimes because you don't want to look bad. It always comes back to the idea of how we look. And so a lot of times people will say yes, and you'll say yes out of guilt, or you'll say, and there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than saying a reluctant yes, and then people pick up on that energy. Like, be very clear when you're saying yes to what it is. And if you're not sure whether or not it's going to benefit you in the long run, ask for 24 hours to make a decision. And then really look at, how is my saying yes going to impact me? And I'm telling you, I am not perfect in doing this because Colleen knows. She's laughing because at the beginning of the year, I said yes to something and it was a 90-day commitment. And as soon as I said yes, I was kicking myself and I went to beat up mode. And like, I was like, oh my gosh. And I really didn't give 100%. And the people who I said yes to could feel that, and sometimes we can give people an easy letdown. You can say something to the effect of, like, well, no, I really don't have the time to be able to do this. But my good friend Lindy has all the time in the world. And I know she's laughing because she's just as busy as me. And, like, maybe she would be able to help you out. Like, if that helps you to feel better, just don't be throwing your friends under the bus, like who are just as busy as you are, and then you're throwing their name out there. Because trust me, they're going to find you and they are going to be coming after you. Like, why did you give my name? Like, I'm the last person that has any time, to give. So, every additional obligation will chip away at everything that you do. And, like when you are focused again on what it is that you want to do, let's just say between now and the end of 2021, keep asking yourself, is this getting me towards that, or is it pulling me away from it? And one of the things that is really key to do around this as well is go ahead and set boundaries. Being effective at saying no is really protecting your boundaries. And I like to look at it as like, what are the hours that you're willing to work? Like, are you open to working on Sundays? Like for me, unless I choose, like Sunday is like my day to give back to myself, to relax, to recuperate, to get myself ready for the week. Like, I don't choose to really do much with like emails or anything on Sundays, unless it's my choice. Like, what hours are you willing to work? Nobody should be working 24/7. Like, have yourself some office hours that, you want to work. What are some of the other things? Like for me, one of my boundaries, I won't work with energy sucks. Like if you're an energy vampire and like it's like we're having a conversation and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be more than I want to handle. Like if you're not going to be open to the idea of being accountable, or like I'm giving you my best coaching and you don't want to implement it, then that's a whole nother conversation that, that we need to have. And who are the clients are that you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. And there's nothing wrong. Like, how many times have we sat down, like really sat down and figured out who is my ideal client? What is it that I really want to be doing? And a lot of times when you're able to sit down and just really have a clear picture of what you want, then it's so much easier to say no to the things that you don't want in your life. All right. So pop in the chat. I love say no to energy vampires. Yeah. So pop into the chat some of the things that you're going to start to say no to, or what you're going to start to set boundaries around. Like, I mean, for a lot of people, it's a certain time at night. Like, the emails can wait. The text messages, again, because of technology, we think that we have to respond to people immediately. That is not the case. Somebody else's emergency is not your crisis, and so it's like really taking a look at, oh my gosh, how is it going to be that I am going to go ahead and set those boundaries for myself and stick to my nose and don't get wishy-washy on it. Oh, I got some stuff, yeah, my boundary is my morning practice. Like, I mean, sometimes I'm really surprised at how early people are up, and that, like, I woke up this morning and I know better to do this, but Tuesdays are like crazy busy for me for whatever reason. Like, don't have the phone the first thing that you look at. But when it's my alarm and I need to change that up, like sometimes I'm looking at it the first thing. I'm like, no. I got other things. I got other things that like I need to do. Like usually the dogs want to be fed first. That's usually, and get them taken care of. And then I can focus in, on me so that they're not bugging me all morning. So any questions on that? Listen, I'm just going to take a quick pause. Does anybody have any questions right now, suggestions, anything they want to throw out at me? It's, we're about, a half hour in that, like you want to throw at me right now. So I don't want to be the one doing all the talking. So who's got something? Don't be shy. Anyone? Bueller?
I do. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can't see you. So can you
identify? Oh, it's me, Michelle.
Oh, okay.
Michelle, hey, Michelle Hollis. Hi.
Okay.
Yes. No, I thank you so much for this. I definitely needed a reset on the getting shit done. Let's say it real. And no, I was going to speak on, because you're saying like energy vampires, and I had some dealings with that this past week. So thank you so much. And I was saying I put in the chat that Whitney Houston has that song, The Greatest Love of All. And she says that she decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. And I realized like a few weeks or probably a few months ago that she meant people's dark side, their dark energy. Like she wasn't going to because I think a lot of times we think it's like being led by someone, but no, it's about working with people's dark side. So thank you so much, because energy is everything. So I really appreciate you referencing that, because without energy, none of us can get anything done. So
absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, Michelle. And so Lynn has a good question and about how much can you realistically accomplish in 15 minutes? You won't know until you do it. And here's the thing, it's all about not being distracted and really focusing in on that time. And again, remember, it's not about quantifying how much you got done, the quality, the quantity. It's that you showed up and took action. And I'm telling you, I thought it was a crazy concept as well until I started to do it. And when you don't have all those other distractions, because here's the problem with distractions, or here's the problem with multitasking. So many of us, and especially as women, we have been taught that, being great multitaskers is some kind of badge of honor. It's not. It is not a badge of honor to attempt to be multitasking all the time. And here's why. Let's just say in those 15 minutes that you are focused, okay, and as soon as you decide to look at a text message, or as soon as you decide to respond to that email, or you decide to do something else, your brain has to all of a sudden refocus, retrain, and be on that other task. That takes a good 5 to 10 minutes. Now you just got yourself out of the flow of what you were doing. And then you have to refocus, retrain the brain another 10, 15 minutes to get back in to what you were doing and that flow. So when you're multitasking and you're not paying attention to one thing, you are getting absolutely nothing done. And again, you're not getting it done with like a sense of competency because you're so distracted. I mean, how many times are we like in a conversation with someone and something happens and pops into your brain, or like somebody interrupts you and then you're like, okay, now where was I? And like now your brain's like scrambling and searching to try to figure out where you were just at that moment. We have so many moments like that all day long. Now, as we get older, I will tell you that, like, it's like sometimes the memory does start to go a little bit like, oh, what was that person's name? Or like, where did I sit my keys? Or where did I do this? Or where did I do that? Like, there is some stuff with like the aging brain. Yet at the same token, too, I promise you. And if it's not a technique that works for you, okay, I'm throwing out some of my best advice, some of the things that has worked for me. However, you owe it to yourself. Just go ahead and give it a whirl and see what happens. Do it for 5 days, do it for, 2 weeks. And if it's not working, it's not working. However, find what is going to work for you, or have a conversation with me around what, like I do strategy sessions and I do different things that, to help you figure out what's going to be the best, way for your schedule.
Hey,
All right, here.
Julie,
Yes.
really quick, Lynn had mentioned in the chat, and I wanted to address it. She said, how much can you realistically get done in 15 minutes? So I just wanted to share something that I block out on my calendar every day for 15 minutes. I wanted to start showing up in a video across all social media platforms with a word of the day. It's just something I created out of the blue. So in 15 minutes, I can think of what my word of the day is. I record the video, I upload it to my drive, I download it onto my computer so I can post it on YouTube. I post it on LinkedIn. I post it on TikTok. I add video to or song, music to it. I add words to it. I upload it on Instagram. And then I post it to Facebook story. So I do all of that in my 15-minute spot that I have set aside every morning that is just for this one specific thing. There's another Facebook group that I have 15 minutes on my calendar that allows you to post different things every day. It's a very active Facebook group. So for 15 minutes, I have it on my calendar every day at different times of the day, blocked out so no one can block over it, that I go and I see what the subject of the day is and what I can post for people to start engaging with me. So I think realistically, if we were to look at 15 minutes, that's to start training our brain to focus on something and set everything else aside. If you're seasoned, which I would call myself very seasoned at calendar blocking, I can block out 30 minutes to 1 hour's worth of time and not allow one distraction to get in my way. But I think the Julie method of the 15-minute block out really trains your brain to start blocking everything out and laser focusing for 15 minutes. Then once you get really good at that, you move it to like 20 or 30 minutes. But most humans stuff like really have a hard time with that. So start with the 15. If you've been really good at blocking that out, it can laser focus, then I think you can add more time. But it's a great start to be accomplishing things and laser focus on them so you have no excuses for 15 minutes. Thanks, Julie.
No, thank you, Colleen, because yeah, it's always about putting it into action. And remember, done is better than perfect. And so I think that, sometimes that's retraining the brain about that as well. Like, for you, Colleen, it's not like you're, getting like wrapped up on how you look, or, you shoot the video and you're like, I got to redo it again.
I don't even get wrapped up in what I say. So if I make a mistake in the middle of the video or say a word wrong, I just keep going. Sometimes I get hoarse. I don't redo those videos. Those videos are one shoot. I just say what comes out and that's it. I'm done.
Well, it is because you're in alignment. And that's a whole nother topic that Colleen and I could probably do a duo teaching Tuesday on the idea behind like just being authentic and in alignment. People love that kind of thing. They love to see people being true and authentic in their videos. Like I mean the practiced or the polished videos, those don't speak to me as much as somebody really when you feel that they're coming from the heart. And so, like for all of us, just being in alignment, and again, going back to what our purpose is, what our passion is, and just really, when you're aligned with your goals and who it is you are, I mean, that's where all the action and that's where all the magic is going to happen, because you're aligned with who you are and what you say, what you say you're going to do. And again, like the 15-minute whole idea is like, it's just to help you to build your self-esteem as well. I'm all about like, how can we increase our self-esteem? How can we stay committed to who we are and what's important to us? All right, so I want to wrap up on time because I know a lot of people always think I'm crazy. When I ask this next question, it's okay. So you ready? All righty, because I know I got some of my people on here. How many people would love to get away from the to-do list forever? Woohoo! To-do list, get away from the to-do list, right? Okay. So let me talk about the alternative to a to-do list, which is what I call a success list. And, here's a couple of things to think about when it comes to a to-do list and a success list. And again, is this going to happen overnight? No, because 95% of how we operate is nothing more than habits. They're subconsciously in our brain, and we've just been doing it forever. I mean, like how many times, like just think about driving. Like when we were 16 years old, right? We had our hands on 10 and 2, and we were so cognizant of everything around us. It was such a big deal to like get the car from our parents, and like we didn't want to get into an accident, right? Now think about the last time you drove and you got home and you pull into the driveway and you're like, holy crap, how did I get here? Like you don't remember lights. You were probably on the phone, you're drinking coffee, you're not paying attention. And somehow it just is subconsciously, you found yourself that you got at home. And it's just like so many things you're on automatic pilot. And it's like, shifting that idea of automatic pilot, like don't be on automatic pilot for your life. Or when you're planning a vacation, don't be on automatic pilot when you're planning a vacation. Like that's the idea behind saying yes to life, so you're not always on automatic pilot. Okay. So a to-do list. What usually happens with a to-do list? A lot of times a to-do list are the first things that come to mind. Got to get dog food, got to go to dry cleaning, blah, 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 blah. Like this, they're inherently, they lack the intent of success. They're trivial things that just come to mind. And I know that as we get older, sometimes, like I said, like we forget about the things that, like I have discovered, and I know I've talked to several of you that have discovered the same thing. Like say I have to go to the post office or I have to do something. I put the stuff on the kitchen counter with my purse and my keys so I remember to grab it as I walk out the door. Or I actually stick it in my car so that when I get in my car and I look over, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do that today as well. I'm not making the list. I just like have it set up in such a way, because what I save my list for is my success list. A success list is very, very short, and it aims you in a specific direction. It aims you towards that big, that big picture item that you're working for between now and the end of, like we're just going with 2021. A to-do list is going to pull you in all different directions. Like it's usually long and it's very disorganized. There is no rhyme or reason to your to-do list. Your success list is like an organized directory. It's going to take you again to that big picture item. We don't want to be distracted with all of those things on our to-do list. We don't want to focus on being busy We want to focus on being productive. And that's another great thing that you can ask yourself when you're doing something. Am I just being busy to be woo busy? Because, of course, again, another badge of honor. Every time we're asked, how are you? I'm woo busy. It's like running around doing what? I'm not exactly quite sure, but I am done with being a chicken with my head cut off. My time is so precious to me because as we get older, time is our most valuable asset. We can replace money. There's other things we can do, but once that time is spent, we don't get it back. And so it's like, how are you spending your most valuable asset? And you can do that so much better by doing a success list. Because, like, quite honestly, if something gets forgotten on your to-do list, it's not that big of a deal. Things happen all the time, but with your success list, your purpose, your passion of like what it is that you want to accomplish, you want to go ahead and, have it on your success list. So here is another exercise that I know you're going to be all so excited about. And again, think that Julie Jones is a crazy woman, but here we go. I want you now, like, I really want you to consider, like, okay, what it is that I want to accomplish between now and the end of the year. And like, make your list of 20 items. Okay. Like you were doing a to-do list. I want you to go ahead, make the list of 20 things. Now, the reason I'm using these numbers is that because math wise, it's easy to do. Okay. Then I want you to examine that list of 20 and I want you to drop it down to the 5 top priorities. 20 items down to 5. And then are you ready for this? I want you to take the 5 and go down to 1 to help you to get to what is my one thing. What is my big picture item? Because all those other things that you usually put on your to-do list, like all you're going to do is you're going to, again, ask yourself my famous question, is this moving me towards or is this moving me away from what it is? I know as human beings, again, we all want to make an impact. We all want to have that legacy. We all want to have like that, okay, how do I make a difference? And, maybe ask yourself those questions to help you to get to that one thing on your success list. Now, I know this is not going to happen overnight. So if you still would like to do your to-do list, I want you to get, well, you can see that, Post-it notes. See how small these are? See how small this is? Okay. And so put on like maybe 3 items. And then as soon as you're done, crumple it up, throw it away. Do not take this to-do list and continue to carry it over day to day to day. Well, I didn't get that done, so now I got to carry it over because you're going to drive yourself crazy. I'm here to tell you, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And don't be like me with this Post-it note. See, when I was in college, I took some classes that you were able to take a 3x5 note card and you could write down some, like, I was in statistics, like I could write down formulas and I could do some things that I like then could go into the test and I could have some added, like if you want to say cheat sheet, but the college professor said it was okay. So when I had this 3x5 card, well, I got ingenious, right? And I pulled the 3x5 card apart. So it was super thin. And then I could write on the inside of the 3x5 card as well as the outside. It was all legal. See, I can be a rule follower, but more than likely I decide to be a rule breaker, right? Okay, so that was me. That was my out of the box thinking, right? But I don't want you taking this this like Post-it note and trying to like write like miniature, like so that you can fit 500 things on here. That's not the point. The point is 3. Maybe I'll give you 5, but 3 to 5 for your to-do if you really need it. Get them done, throw it away. Don't be carrying it over to the next day. Okay, that's just the bottom line. All right, so we've got about 10 minutes left. And have you guys, like, if you've received some kind of value or a great tip or something, go ahead and like yes, in the chat. Julie Jones, you're awesome. Julie Jones rocks, whatever. Like, just go ahead and put it in the chat. Like, what is the one, like, again, we can get overwhelmed with trying to implement too many things. Like, what is the one takeaway that you are going to implement today that you're taking away? I want to see those. I want to start seeing, implement what you're implementing. 15 minutes. Thank you, Tracy. She's the first one to respond. So go ahead and put in the thing. Yes. Like, what is the one thing? Again, like, I don't want you to get overwhelmed, because the human mind, like, here's what happens. What usually happens? I've decided to get fit, right? So I'm going to like start exercising an hour a day. I'm going to start to eat clean. I'm going to eliminate sugar. I'm going to do all this stuff. And like, you do it for maybe a day or two. And then all of a sudden you're like, the hell with it. And you don't do anything anymore because it was too much for the brain and you overwhelmed yourself. I don't want that to be the case. I want you to start small, and I want you then to go ahead and, take it from there. So for you and the time that you took today, I am so excited, because I would like to offer, for the first 6 people that respond in the chat, yes, I'm in, a free 30-minute strategy session where I'm going to do a personalized, oh my gosh, yeah, everybody's, yes, I'm in. And I am a woman of my word. So, I said 5 to 6. If I have more than that, I will like, support you. Okay. So, because I want this to be about you, and I want to take a personalized session and find an item that you're procrastinating about and help you to get over that. We're going to do some laser coaching. It's a $200 value. I mean, like, I love to be able to give back and make a difference. And because I really value your time and the time that you took, to get some information here today. But let's see what we can, do together. I'm, Colleen, I'll save the chat. I'll know who it is. She's going to get me everybody's contact information, and I will follow through, and we'll set up a time to do that 30-minute personalized procrastination strategy session for you, because everybody's got their thing, their hang up that they procrastinate about. And I'd love to be able to help support you with that. As we're wrapping up, who else has any questions, comments, anything that they would like to throw out there at this point?
Okay, I'm going to remove the spotlight so you guys can put it on gallery view if you need to. Julie, that was phenomenal. What do you guys think? Like, wasn't Julie phenomenal, right? Great tips. That was a great session. Everyone loved it. So, Julie, thank you so much for that generous offer to follow up with the ladies today. We all get in this niche of procrastination. And I also want you to think about, and Julie might have mentioned this earlier, if you're procrastinating something, I want you to understand why you're procrastinating. What is the reason why you keep putting it off? What is the reason behind that? Because there's an underlying reason. Is it because you're afraid to do it? Is it because you're not confident enough? Is it because you don't feel like you're educated enough? Is it because you hate doing it and you need to outsource it to someone else to do? And maybe you took something on and said yes to something like Julie did earlier that she should have said no to. So again, let's start looking at the reasons why you're procrastinating. I know Julie's going to dive into that with you in her laser coaching call, but take her up on that that opportunity and that free offer today for her to work with you on that, because you're going to uncover some really deep stuff about yourself and why you're procrastinating. And that's more important than procrastination itself, for sure. So, Julie, thank you for all the lessons that you learned, that you taught us today, all of the things that we can apply. By the way, ladies, none of this works unless you apply it. I'm just going to share that secret with you right now. So unless you apply this to your business and then go to Julie and say, hey, okay, I've scheduled something with you. I've tried this. It's not working for me. I need a little bit of help. So Julie, thank you again so much. Next week, for all of you, like I mentioned earlier, before all of you jumped on, April 27th, we have Lynn teaching on 5 mistakes that entrepreneurs make and what we need to do instead. I love that. Lynn Rowe's going to be teaching that. So I want to find out what those 5 mistakes are that entrepreneurs make, so I'm not making those mistakes, right? We all want to learn. Again, if learning is beneath us, leadership is beyond us. So remember, to be the best leader we could possibly be, We need to keep learning. And so I really appreciate all of you being here every week to support our members. If you're not a member of Lead Up for Women and you want the opportunity to not just attend these meetings, but actually run one of the meetings like Julie did and teach and have the opportunity to share your genius, I'll drop the link into the chat. Any member of Lead Up for Women has the opportunity to teach any of these Teaching Tuesdays that we have available, and the slots fill very quickly. So you might want to jump in. And this is only one of the spotlights. Then you get the magazine articles, you get the podcast, you get all the other information. So again, we welcome you to join Lead Up for Women and step into all the spotlights, because if people aren't seeing you and they don't know you exist and you're not being heard, you're being overlooked. And if you're being overlooked, then your business is not expanding. You're not attracting clients. Your business is not growing. We're not in this for a hobby, ladies. We're in this to make money. We're in this to make a change and an impact on the others that we serve in the future. But we can't do that if we're not fueled by finances to keep doing it. So that's an important piece of this puzzle that we can't forget, that money is important for us to run our businesses. So get out there and get yourself spotlighted and get into whatever spotlights are available to you. I think Michelle sent something earlier in text, and she said, I used my 15 minutes to apply for any podcast I could get on and to apply to go and attend any network events that I could find. So get that visibility, get that exposure, and then make those authentic conversations and connections with other people to get to know people and cultivate those. I know some people say it can be the long game, but I don't know. I guess I enjoy the long game, because to me, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey that we're on and the impacts that we make, right? And Julie certainly is all about impact and the journey she is on. I've never seen anyone make a blow up dinosaur outfit look so amazing while she's walking her dogs down the street. Like, this is her every day. It's just how she walks her dogs. So she's like the light of her community, the funnest person I know. You have to have her in your life. So if you don't know Julie, you've got to become friends with Julie, because she just makes you a better person being around her. So she's a connection that you want to make, because she is well connected and she has a lot of influential friends and connections for all of you. So I want to thank all of you for being here. Julie, any last words? Anyone want to say anything before we wrap up?
No, Colleen, thank you so much for your gracious words. And I do love, I'm a master networker and connector. And so if there is anything that I can do to support any of you, please let me know. But the biggest way that you can support yourself is if you are not a member of Lead Up for Women. There's just no question. You really need to be. That'll save you some time management, because of what the exposure, the visibility, and how Colleen has a passion for helping women business owners to be their best. You will get so much, the return on investment, and it's such a minimal investment. Like, just do yourself a favor, click on that link, go join. There should be no question. That's just, if you're a
Thank you,
woman
Julie.
and you're in business, okay, that's my other tip. Like, take action now. Stop procrastinating. Go take action now.
Absolutely. And Julie founded the Phoenix chapter. So she's going to start meetings in May. So we probably should drop that link in the bottom here. If you go to the homepage of Lead Up for Women, oh, here, I have it right here. I'll drop it in here really quick for you guys. Make sure you save your chat. If there was some information or here, click on the link. If you're in the Phoenix area, you definitely want to check that out, or Illinois area. Ashley Schmitz founded that one, and she's going to be leading that up. So these are free to attend. It's another networking event for you to start connecting with people locally as well. So I hope you guys will take advantage of that additional opportunity for you that's been created in Lead Up for Women. So ladies, that's all we have for today. I look forward to seeing you at our next event, which is next Tuesday. And don't forget about the Lunch and Learn that's right around the corner, coming up on May 6th. And the magazine just came out. So go to the homepage and claim your new copy of your magazine. So that March, April issue's out. All right, ladies, we'll see you later. Take care.
Bye. Thank you. Have an amazing day.
This week, 15 minutes. Work on it. All right, ladies. See ya. Bye-bye.